All right, welcome. And today I have decided that rather than writing my blog post, I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting to do a video. And I wanted to interview somebody in particular, and her name is Kristen Price, and she is a health coach. And the reason why I wanted to interview her is because I have been coming across meeting, talking, consulting, in my strategy sessions, in my coaching sessions, and what I'm finding with clients, especially in the spa industry, is that, ladies and gentlemen, we are a burnt out group of folks, and that is not any good for our business. And it got me to thinking that, we all know we should be eating healthier, probably exercising more, but we get under the gun with our business and we get overwhelmed, and usually that is the first thing to go, right? Anything to do with our own health and wellness. So today I wanted to interview Kristen and pick her brain a little bit to see, what we could be doing a little differently and how our stress affects our work. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Kristen. Kristen is a health coach, and she in particular specializes with women entrepreneurs who are maybe struggling with their energy level and their health. And she wants you to be able to have a really great restful night, to wake up refreshed, and to go about your day with the energy that you need to pull off whatever you need to do. So Kristen, thank you for joining us today, and let's just dive right in. So I've got 4 questions for you, and the first thing is, we all know we're under a lot of stress, especially as an entrepreneur, but maybe you can remind us, maybe the obvious things of what stress kind of shows up in our life, and maybe the not so obvious ways that stress shows up for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, Kristen, for this interview today. I'm glad to be talking about this. So stress is one of those things that we may think we have and we may not know we have. So some of the obvious signs of stress that we have are that anxiousness, that tightness in your chest. And we obviously, a lot of times we identify it with being stressed. So we'll say, oh, I'm really stressed. And sometimes that comes about with being really busy as well. You might have a little bit of a racing heart. Like I said, the tightness in your chest are some really common symptoms. And I feel like there's 2 kinds of people. So some people go, yeah, I'm really stressed out. And some people go, no, stress is really good for me. It really motivates me. And what I really want to point out is, regardless of our perception of, actually that's not true, but our perception of stress actually does matter. And the other part of that is, when we are stressed, it's not just when we're conscious of being stressed, when it affects our body, it's when there's unconscious stressors as well. So we tend to live in this society that's normalized this level of busyness as just everybody does it. And really the work, the taking care of kids, the having a relationship, having any community involvement that you have, it's all a really busy schedule. And when our body has chronic stress, even in the sense of just being really busy, that can add up. And we're not only talking about that thing that we identify with stress, but also the any financial stress or emotional stress. There's environmental stress. There's all these different things that can impact our body that we may or may not realize. Some of the less subtle signs of being stressed is waking up at 4 a.m. with racing thoughts.
Oh, we never do that.
Never do that.
For me, it's usually the 3 o'clock, literally on the bell. It's my eyes open and I start worrying.
Yeah. To-do list goes through your mind, and it's funny because usually when you actually get up, you're like, what's I so stressed about at 3 a.m.? But it can be really difficult to get back to sleep as well. Similarly, that track, you'll usually get around, in the morning, you'll have some energy, and then you'll have a 3 p.m. slump. So you'll kind of get tired in the afternoon, and then throughout the evening, around 11 p.m., you'll have another burst of energy and a really good time to do some more work. Is what I find a lot of people have as well. And that's what we call this like tired and wired cycle. So it's a lot of up and down with your energy cycle.
I love that term, tired and wired. I can totally relate. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs can relate. And I totally loved what you said about that we've normalized stress and we've normalized the level of stress that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as entrepreneurs too, we put on this hat that says, oh, I can handle it. I can, I've got this, no problem. And we end up internalizing and trying not to let it show, which I would imagine even adds more stress when you internalize it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the effects of stress, especially when we internalize it, when we normalize it, and it's still there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of alluded earlier that there is a perception of stress matters, and there is some research to show that if we see that quickening of your heart rate and that anxiousness, if we see that as a positive sign, then that can actually motivate us to seek stress relief. And it can also be something that kind of gets us down.
Mm-hmm.
So those are different kind of responses that you can get there.
Yeah, I gotcha. So every salon spa owner I know is pretty stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
But how are we, like how does it show up during our workday? Like, and you're talking about kind of these ups and downs. So you're talking about it a little bit that, at certain periods of time, you'll have slumps and then you'll have a kick of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other clues that we can look for during our workday or any time during our day that should be a little whack on the head to say, okay, this is a little much. You need to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of some of the big signs and symptoms of stress is that we're really tired. So more to that exhaustion part of it, there's what we call 3 phases of our stress response. And the second one was tired and wired, and the third phase is just plain exhaustion. So this is when you're having trouble getting out of bed in the morning, lacking motivation, lacking energy, really tired. There's there's a lot of different, particularly with women, there's different impacts that we can have to our menstrual cycle when we're too stressed. And it basically, it messes with our body's natural rhythms. So anything to do with our natural rhythms is impacted with stress.
Okay. So what are some specific, other than the general, okay, you need to eat better and you need to exercise more, which I think all of us as spa owners know we should be doing, but what are some entry-level things that we could take action on this week or even tomorrow for our day tomorrow? So if I'm waking up, so say tonight I wake up at 3, I've been worrying about something for about an hour. I finally get back to sleep, but I have to be up at 6 or 6:30, and I've woken up not really feeling that energized, but I'm fueling myself with coffee to get it going. What are some things for my day tomorrow that I could easily do that would help me try to get this balance, like, try to minimize the stress, but also nourish my body to be able to handle it better?
Yeah, absolutely. There's 2 things I would recommend that you take out of your diet, and you're probably going to be like, no, but I need those. And the first one is caffeine. And so that's in the form of not only coffee, but chocolate also has a lot of caffeine in it. And caffeine actually stimulates our stress response. So when we're stressed and we drink coffee, we're actually going to increase the cortisol production, which is our stress hormone. We're actually going to increase that in our body. So it's kind of this circle, kind of in feedback loop, because we're not sleeping well, we're tired because we're stressed, and then we need something to stimulate us, which actually increases our stress response and kind of continues that cycle. So I would really look to your coffee consumption first. There are different.
So as far as limiting my coffee consumption, like, can I have 1 cup of coffee and just not get into it again at 11 and 3 again?
Yeah, I would really recommend starting from where you're at. If you're a 5 cup of coffee person a day, then start decreasing it. That's going to be a better impact, and you want to make this something that's manageable for you as well. So you don't want to just go cold turkey unless you think that that's actually going to work for you. If you're going to be a mess at cold turkey, then it's not something that's going to be sustainable.
Gotcha.
So decrease your coffee consumption, I'll put it that way. The next thing you should decrease is your sugar. So sugar also has that stimulating effect on us. And generally when we are feeling, when we kind of start to get that energy low, the thing we want is sugar because it's our energy, our body's energy currency. So we're going to want to get some sugar in us so we can get back up. But the problem is when we're really stressed, our body actually takes all of our glycogen stores, which is our sugar stores in our body, and puts it into our bloodstream because it's like, we need to go, we're tired, we're stressed, we got to get some energy. So you're actually causing more blood sugar dysregulation by adding that sugar into your body, and you're going to kind of have more of those highs, and then you're going to come crashing right back down again. So when I say sugar, I really am talking about your processed foods, muffins, danishes, those sweet things. Having an apple, for example, isn't going to be as bad, or isn't going to be bad. Fruit's awesome. I would just recommend having it with a protein source as well. So add peanut butter, almond butter, have a banana with almond butter, something like that, because that will slow down the absorption of the sugar and allow you to utilize that energy more effectively. So the first two is decrease your coffee consumption and increase your sugar, decrease your sugar.
I was like, oh, really? Right on.
No, decrease your sugar, decrease your coffee. And the third is there's 3 things I want you to add more of to your diet. And the first one is vitamin C containing foods. So vitamin C actually supports our body when we're stressed, and it'll help our body get the nutrients that we need to manage it. And so, your typical red peppers, broccoli, or citrus fruits, those sorts of things. So increase your vitamin C. And I would definitely recommend getting these from food sources, so whole food sources. The second one is your leafy green vegetables. Leafy green vegetables are an excellent source of your B vitamins, which also help your body manage your stress response system. So leafy greens, awesome foods to eat in your diet.
One of the things actually that was really, I thought was really interesting is my husband started in a new job in November. And one of the things that they had going on that the staff had just decided to put together on their own is they had a salad club. And it was brilliant. It was everybody who was part of the salad club. Somebody every week was responsible for one thing. So one person was responsible for bringing the lettuce all week. Somebody else was responsible for bringing seeds or nuts or whatever. Somebody else was responsible for bringing red peppers that week. And then it was just kept in the fridge at work, and you made whatever you wanted from all the stuff that everybody brought. It was just I thought it was such a smart idea to, be able to stay eating kind of nourishing foods at work when you're tempted to just quickly grab something. It's all just in the fridge.
And I love that because it makes it a communal thing where everybody's supporting each other and eating that healthy, and having that salad. And really encouraging people to have not only lettuce, but spinach and arugula. And right now in Vancouver and in British Columbia, we have an awesome amount of greens at our local farmers market. So I totally encourage people to go out and experiment with things that you actually don't find in the grocery store. And there are some delicious greens out there right now.
The other thing that I saw, it was actually in a post. It was in a Facebook post in a group, and I think it was a salon owner who was talking about a project that he brought on because he was noticing that his staff were, they were always on the fly. They were, grabbing coffees, quickly scorfing down something to eat that was usually horrible for them. And what he did was he actually supplied his staff with snacks in the staff room. And I mean, I think he spent maybe $20 a week. And, he had a staff that was, even blood sugar all day long, because, sometimes you just forget to bring lunch or you forget to bring snacks and you grab something not so great from the coffee shop next door or whatever. Yeah. But I thought that was a really smart idea for a spa owner, salon owner to do for their staff. That was a great perk, and it actually benefited the company culture in a really, really big way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really believe strongly in that. I think that investment in your employee health, like when you invest in your health and your employee health, you're going to get it back
Oh yeah,
tenfold
yeah,
with the
absolutely.
productivity and presenteeism that you have in your,
Yeah,
in your company.
absolutely.
Yeah. So the third thing that I was just going to say in the terms of like the free things to add is
Hmm.
magnesium-containing food. So magnesium helps our body relax. So, for example, like quinoa is really high in magnesium, and actually raw cacao. So the superfood raw cacao is really high in magnesium. You want to be a little bit cautious with that because it also has some caffeine, but it's a completely natural food source. So you can play around with it and see if it helps maybe adding it to your smoothie in the morning, and that like lessens your need to have coffee, and it's a good source of magnesium. So yeah, something else to try.
Cool. And I know that I have quite a few people that read my blogs and follow me that actually have a very specific niche in the spa industry where they're actually doing skincare coaching and they're integrating the kind of the nutrition part into their skincare coaching. And I've actually heard, well, last week I had a facial. I'm pretty sure I remember my esthetician telling me, looking at my skin and talking about my skin and mentioning magnesium just, for my skincare. But it's really interesting that you are talking about that as far as, energy level and helping with stress too, is
Yeah.
magnesium.
Well, and that's actually really that's a really good point because really our skin is a very great reflection of what's going on inside of our body. So the more whole foods you eat, the better your skin's going to look.
Well, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about this and kind of bring this whole concept of the healthy spa owner up to the front, because if we are supposed to be our clients' expert and mentor and leader for all things, healthy skin, healthy body, how does that, there's a disconnect when the spa owner is looking haggard and exhausted and their skin's kind of gray, they're not looking too super healthy. It doesn't really instill a whole lot of confidence in clients or prospective clients that are kind of checking out your business. So it's, not only is it important for us as spa owners to have the energy to be able to deal with our day and not just get through our day, but have the energy to still be creative and be thought leaders in our business and to our team. But we need to be, we need to present a healthy front to our clientele as well. So I think, this talk about, stress and health and, nutrition, it's both sides. It's what we need as owners to be productive, but it's also what we need to be portraying to our clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And may
So,
I say something quickly on that?
yeah.
I think that as business owners and myself as well, you get to this point where you're like, oh, I've got to make my business run, and the first thing that kind of drops off of the side of your desk is your wellness because you're like, I got bills to pay, I've got these clients to do, I've got all these different aspects of my business that I've got to run, and wellness is kind of like, oh, okay, I'll get to that run like tomorrow, or I'll start my wellness routine next week. And I really assert that our wellness is actually the foundation of which everything else is going to be built upon. And if your wellness is taken care of, that your business is actually going to be better. And there's points when with my business it's Sunday and I'm like, no, I'm taking Sundays off, and I go, okay, well, I'll just answer a few emails, and I start getting on there, and like I know I'm like, shut the computer, Kristen, get off, get outside, go now, it's sunny, like take a day off, and it's hard because as much as I know I benefit from taking that day off, actually removing myself from that work is so difficult. And even as someone who knows it, who like reads the papers, reads the research, and like I know it, it's still difficult to get out and take care of yourself.
Yep, absolutely. I think that it really boils down to, um, what kind of leader are you? Because the natural leader recognizes that in themselves and knows that, okay, I'm the one, lighting the way and showing the way. And but part of that leadership is knowing when to say no, and knowing when to say yes, and knowing what to say no and yes to. So I'm totally with you on the fact that wellness is the absolute, the bottom of any kind of business. And the wellness has so many aspects to it, doesn't it? It has nutrition, it has physical aspect, but then there's also that whole kind of soul spirit kind of wellness. I mean, and meditating and all that kind of stuff. So there's so many parts of it, but today we were just really wanting to shine the light on nutrition, and in particular, and how to make some little tiny adjustments and improvements. So Kristen, what would you say, if you've given us some ideas for tomorrow, to get started tomorrow or even tonight, what are some more long-term ideas or thoughts that we could be doing?
Yeah. I really suggest connecting with your what for. Why do you own a business? Why are you running your own business? And from there, be like, I think a lot of us run our own businesses because we want that freedom to dictate what our lives look like. And so saying, okay, well, on the long term, how many hours a day do I want to work? How many, what do I want to do on the weekends? What are my hours during the days that I work? And really saying, like, what do I want my wellness to look like in that sense? And then structuring it so that you can do that. I've got a wellness guide for success that's coming out. Actually, it's just going to come out when this post goes live. And I really suggest looking and signing up for that. It's free, and it'll be sent to your inbox. And to really make those plans and get present to what your goals are for your wellness, so that you can start implementing them. Because everybody's different. Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different situations at home. If there is sort of some top things that I would say to look for, it's going, what's your wellness goals? Like, what do you want to be healthy for? What does it mean to you to be healthy? What does it make possible in your life? And then really working backwards and saying, how do I make that a reality? And that's something I definitely work with people on doing. And it's so important, because sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and suddenly we're rushing through life, and it's sort of like, where did that last day go? Or what did I do yesterday? And really becoming more present in what we're doing and how we're doing it, I think is the key to life. That's what we're doing.
So that's what you like. You offer. You have packages that you offer, kind of more long-term, kind of planning and strategizing around your own kind of personal wellness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is the where can they find your wellness free offer that you have?
Yeah,
is it on your website?
Yes, it's on my website. So www.kristinprice.ca. So KRISTIN.
Okay, and I will make sure that I write that in when this blog post goes up, that I'll have that as a link to your website, so that you can go there and download her free wellness report, and you can see how you can adjust that for yourself. Or you can contact Kristen if you're interested in having more of a kind of a long-term, very personalized wellness plan. I'll have the contact information there for you to talk to Kristen as well. Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to meet with me and to share your knowledge about health and wellness. And particularly, I really love that, on your website, that you are very specific about, business people and entrepreneurs, because I think that's such an awesome niche to be in, because God, we need you.
Oh, thank you. It was such a pleasure, Kristen. I'm so glad that we're talking about this.
So I will share this on my blog post, and I will also share your contact information on my Facebook page, so that we can follow you. Do you have a Facebook page as well that we can follow?
Yes, I do. I can send you the link to connect.
Okay, awesome. And I'll make sure that gets posted so we can follow your wisdom on all things health and wellness to keep us supported. All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kirsten.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.